What's going on, everybody? It's MasterAquatics and I'm bringing you guys another video. Let's jump right into the video. So, as you guys may or may not know, judging from the title of the video, I bought some new fish. These fish are called autocinkless. I've never had these fish before. Never seen these fish before. I went into a PetSmart. I was looking for a Siamese flying fox algae eater. I was actually going to get about 6 of them because I've had them in the past and they do really good for algae and getting rid of all kinds of algae, black algae, green algae, any type of algae problem. They were my go-to fish to take care of that problem. And I went to the PetSmart, excuse me, and they did not have Siamese flying fox. It looks like they stopped carrying that type of fish for whatever reason. And I started venturing and looking for other types of algae eaters, and I came across these guys, and I was like, they stay small. They're not that much. They're pretty cheap, and they eat algae. So I thought I would give them a go. I was a little skeptical at first. I wasn't sure if they would do good in my 125-gallon tank because these guys are kind of small. I mean, they're not super small, but they're kind of small. And they don't seem that fast and nimble. So I was a little worried because I didn't know if my angelfish would go after these guys or not. But shortly after releasing them into my 125-gallon tank, of course with acclimation, they seem to be doing okay. It was up until this point when I realized that, they might get chased around a few times, and I was a little worried, but I didn't think that they were gonna eat them. I think they just were curious, and I figured they were gonna do this a few times, and then eventually they were gonna back off. The only one that wasn't really giving these fish a opportunity to get used to the aquarium was Cheddar Bob. He definitely did not give these guys a chance. He was wanting to figure out if these guys were food or if these guys were tank mates as soon as possible. The new koi angelfish, they were just kind of like eh, and then there's Cheddar Bob chasing them around like the bully that he is. But as you can see, the new fish are just, the autocinkless are just way too fast for the angelfish. So, but they're doing great. I mean, I don't see any problems. Like I said, they chased them around a few times, but that was about it. Once they realized they are not food, once they realized they are too fast, they quickly gave up and left them alone. And as you can see, autocinkless are now peacefully grazing on algae on my plants. If they had more than 6, I would have got more, but they only had 6 at PetSmart, so I couldn't get any more than that. I would have gotten at least like 10 because they were so small, and they were only like $3 each. And then PetSmart, on top of that, was doing a sale for these guys. They were selling buy 4 get 2 free. So I ended up paying $10 for all 6, which was great. Excuse me, probably a little bit more than 10. But I really like these guys so far. I really hope they do well in my tank. The reason why I got these guys is not just for the algae problem, but because I used to have some Corridoras. I have 1 now. I used to have 4, but 3 of them passed away, unfortunately. So I had to replace them and get some new fish that are going to be part of the cleanup crew. I'm not going to stop at these 6 autocinkless. I am going to get more fish to help clean up with the tank because I really don't want an algae problem in this tank like I do in the 75-gallon tank currently. My 125-gallon tank is supposed to be like a show tank. It's supposed to look spectacular. It's supposed to look great. No algae, no waste at the bottom. So got to get my cleanup crew going, and hopefully that will happen pretty soon. And I just wanted to show you guys that if you feed your fish properly, especially if you have like a lot bigger fish who won't snack on smaller fish but will kind of go after smaller fish, if you feed them well, then they should be okay. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm making sure that they're well fed so that way they stop harassing my autocinkless. As you can see, there's an autocinkless on the right corner back there of the aquarium. They'd rather go for flakes than they would for the new fish that I just bought for my aquarium. So just really wanting to know what you guys think of the new fish that I got. Like I said, I've never had these before. If anybody here that watching my video has ever owned autosinkless fish, give me some information. I did do a little bit of research. I just mainly know that they prefer a tank that's heavily planted, and they do great with algae. They also do great in groups. That's pretty much all I know. They were kind of like an impulse buy, so I didn't really do too much research, which is kind of hypocritical of me because I did mention before that you should always do research before you buy fish. But I just kind of just did an impulse buy. I was like, oh, they're having a sale. These guys are small. They prefer plants. I think I can take care of them. I'm an intermediate fish keeper. I shouldn't get any problems with these guys. And this is just a clip here, just showing you guys a feeding of the angelfish that I have here in the 125-gallon tank. These guys are just getting massive. They're getting really big, and I think it's just the constant feedings of bloodworms. Really, the fat in the bloodworms really gets these guys big and growing, and they are just getting huge, to say the least. And I don't think I've ever showed a feeding of my angelfish pair. These guys, I'm getting ready for them to lay a big batch of eggs for me. That's why I'm feeding them some bloodworms. Usually I won't do that because their tank is smaller than the 125-gallon tank. These guys are in a 29-gallon tank. And usually I don't like to heavily feed them because their tank gets dirty so fast. Even when I don't heavily feed them, their tank still gets dirty. I have to do a water change for this tank at least once every week or two. Otherwise it just gets completely dirty and the water starts to evaporate from the tank. Even with the extra filtration that you see behind them, the water is still degrading after each feeding very quickly. So if you're wondering which tank I do the most water changes on, besides the fry tank, it would be this one. This one really takes up most of my time, especially when they start laying eggs. And another reason why this tank gets so dirty is because sometimes when they lay eggs and I give them another chance, which they always screw up, when they lay eggs, I figure, oh, this time they're not going to eat their eggs. This time they're not going to eat their babies, but they end up doing it anyways. But when the babies are present, I skip the water change because I don't want to interrupt or disturb their mating or spawning process, and they end up eating the babies after they start free swimming, which gets me irritated every time. But from now on, I'm gonna raise every single batch that they lay of eggs that they lay from now on, if I have the extra space, if I have the extra room, the extra tank, and so on. I gotta say, all the years that I've been breeding angelfish, this pair right here is my favorite, and they're the best. I usually feed my angelfish 2 cubes of bloodworms because these guys are just really big. I've never had a big group of angelfish like these guys. These guys mainly started out as medium-sized fish, and they've grown to an amazing size. There's even a silver angelfish in there, right there in the middle, right next to Cheddar Bob. I got him so small, and he's gotten so big. He's just grown massive. And it's funny because, I made a video saying you shouldn't buy fish from Petco or PetSmart. I said that, and I made that video because, in terms of quality, Petco and PetSmart don't really have the best quality in fish. And what I mean by that is the hard to find color strains of your favorite fish, and also sometimes when it comes to fins, angelfish, they don't always have the best looking fins at a Petco or PetSmart. But I didn't say you shouldn't never buy from them. I've bought fish from Petco and PetSmart plenty of time. I've actually bought the autosinkless from PetSmart, as I mentioned earlier in the video. But just to give you guys an update real quick on the kois, they are growing, they are getting big, and they're coloring up nicely. I do know that with Angels Plus, their koi angelfish, as they get older, they get more orange and less like reddish, but they're technically not red, they're just orange. Just the saturation on the orange is really intense when they're younger. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the new fish that I got for my aquarium. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Let me know what new fish you guys want me to put in this tank. Leave me feedback, share the video, like the video, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, and peace. Bye-bye.
Thank you, young God, for the blessing, ayy.